Y'all, welcome back. We are going to get started on fin number 5 in the Peace, Love, Joy Christmas mini album using the Christmas Bells collection from Dress My Craft. So if you haven't seen the video for fins 1 through 4, be sure and check those out. Actually, it's multiple videos. It's not just one video. The cover is a video. Each fin has its own video. This will be the second to last video in this series. The last video in this series will be embellishing and filling out this book. So we are on the final little fin here. Let's talk about what we're going to do on page number 17. Page 17 is going to have 3 flaps and at least 2 pockets, possibly 3. It's going to be arranged. Here's the base page. 7.5 inches wide. We're going to score this side at 1/2 inch. 7 inches tall. This is 110-pound white cardstock. On that page, we're going to have another piece of 110-pound white cardstock. Let me find it. It's going to be arranged over here, and we're going to score this. This piece is 3 inches wide by 7.25 inches wide by 3 inches tall. The 7.25 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch, and it's going to sit over here and fold over this way. And it's going to tuck under a belly band. The belly band is 1 inch wide by 8 inches tall. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch and 7.5 inches. That belly band is going to attach to a flap. This flap is 7 inches wide by 7.5 inches tall. The 7.5 inch side, we're going to score it 1/2 inch. That flap is going to attach up here and then fold down. We'll have a belly band here, and this piece will tuck into the belly band. On the bottom, we're going to have another flap. By the way, this is 65-pound cardstock, as is this piece. It's 6 inches wide by 7 inches tall. We're going to score it 1/2 inch. It's just going to flip up, and it's going to be tucked underneath all of this. On the base page, we're going to have a pocket. It's going to be a vertical pocket, 4.5 inches wide. We're going to score that at 1/2 inch. 8 inches tall. We're going to score that at 1/2 inch and 7.5 inches. And then on top of that, we're going to have a second pocket. So this pocket is going to open this way. The second pocket is going to open this way. And those measurements are 4.5 inches this way. Or sorry, 4.5 inches this way. It is 4.5 by 4.5. So we're going to score it at 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch on this side and 3.5 inches on this side. In fact, I may need to recut that. Unless I want to make them both side fold. I'm just going to go ahead and make them both side fold or side inserting. But if you wanted to make this a top inserting, then you would make this 5 inches, score it 1/2 inch and 4.5 inches. And then that would fit that way. So the mats for these pages, the mat for the belly band is just a piece of this is the branding strip from a piece of paper from the collection. Branding strips are really good for stuff like that. So that's the mat for the belly band. For the flap that's going to tuck under the belly band, the mats are 6.25 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches tall. We've got 2 of those. The mats for the flap that flips up, those are overall 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. One of them, it's going to be trimmed just a little bit shorter than that, and I'm just going to add a piece along the side to extend it. But that's the overall dimension for the mats for the page that flips up. For the page that flips down, those overall dimensions are 5 3/4 by 6 1/4. Again, we're going to have an extension for at least one of these. This is left over from some mixed media paper that I put together to go with this collection to help extend the pattern papers a little bit, because the pattern papers in this collection, they all either have words on them or images that have a very definite top or bottom. So they were creating a little bit of a challenge to make sure that I had enough to get through the entire book without running out of pattern papers. As it turns out, I've got, I think, 3 pieces left that I haven't cut into. So I'm in a very good position heading into the embellishment phase of the process. For the pockets that go on the base, on the left side of the base, here it is. It's this one. 3 inches wide by 5 3/4, and then the pockets will be over here. And the piece that's going to go on the top is this one, and it is 3 3/4 by 3 inches. And then the piece that mats on the bottom pocket is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's go ahead and get started with assembly. First, we're going to add the belly band to the top flap, then attach the top flap to the base, the side flap to the base, and the bottom flap to the base. And then we'll be able to add this mat to the base, add the pockets, actually add the first pocket, add the top mat for the first pocket, which is this piece here, then add the bottom pocket. Then we'll be able to get everything matted. That turned out to be a little more challenging than I expected, but you know, what's life without a little challenge? So this is how the page comes together. And we've got hidden pockets here and here. So now we're going to get started on the pages in the middle. We're going to go pretty easy on these. We're going to take, these strips are 1 inch wide by 7 1/4 inches long, and I just added a little extra length because you could probably do 7 1/8, because we're actually going to weave these a little bit, and I'll go ahead and trim off whatever I end up not needing. So they're going to be laid out kind of like this, and we're only going to glue at the end. So we'll put glue here, here, and here. And if we want to tuck photos underneath, we'll have plenty of room to do that. Or we can use this as a photo mat. But before we do any of that, I need to erase all this writing. Before I move on, I forgot to mention, these mats right here are 3 by 3. Now let's move on to the final page in our album. Got lots of little pieces for this one. This is going to have 2 flaps that fold out to the side, and a total of, looks like 3 pockets. And again, we're going to use a belly band closure. So that belly band is 1 inch wide by 8 inches tall, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch from each side. So the first flap is 5 3/4 inches by 5 inches. On the 5 3/4 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. It's going to go on here and fold over this way. On the right side, the flap is 6 1/2 inches. We're going to score that at 1/2 inch by 7 inches. It's going to fold over this way. This flap is going to come over the top and slide under the belly band there. On the flaps, we're going to have pockets. So on the left flap pocket, the measurements for that pocket are 6 inches by 2 1/2 inches. On the 6 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 5 1/2 inches. And on the 2 1/2 inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. On the right side, we're going to have a vertical flap on this side. The measurements are 3 1/2 inches wide, scored at 1/2 inch, 8 inches tall, scored at 1/2 inch, and 7 1/2 inches. On the base, we're going to have 2 pockets. First one is going to be a vertical pocket. 5.5 inches, scored at 1/2 inch, by 8 inches, scored at 1/2 inch and 7.5 inches. And then on top of that pocket, we're going to have another pocket that's going to open. See, this pocket is going to open to the side. This pocket is going to open to the top. And those dimensions are 6 inches, scored at 1/2 inch, and 5.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And we're going to score that at 1/2 inch. So let's talk about the mats. For the belly band, we're probably going to use a branding strip for that mat. For this outer pocket, that mat is, the outer mat is 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. The inner mats on the top is 4 3/4 by 3 inches. I'll go up here. And the mat for the pocket is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. That'll go down here. On the right flap, the outer mat is going to be overall 5 3/4 by 6 3/4. I'm actually going to double mat this one. So that'll be on the outside. On the inside, it's 3 inches by 6 3/4. That's going to go on this side. And then the pocket mat is 2 3/4 by 6 3/4. So it's going to go over here. On the base, we've got these two pockets. We're going to put down first this mat. This mat is 2 inches wide by 6 3/4. It's going to go right there. And then we're going to put down this mat is 4 3/4 by 3 inches. I'll go up here. Then this mat is 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. And it's going to sit right there. So let's go ahead and start getting everything assembled. Okay, the only thing left is to add these 2 pages into our book, and then we're gonna do some embellishing, go along the gussets and add pattern papers to the gussets just to finish the look of the book, and then we'll be done. So be sure and subscribe if you're interested in seeing the rest of the book. Go ahead and check out the other videos in the playlist if you want to see these other fins and these other pages and how we put those together.